Hello, I'm Persia.
And I'm Joey, and you're watching an addictive-daughter Skype Nugget.
And today we are very lucky to be interviewing Isabel Foxon Duke, who is the founder of StopFightingFood.com, which has been featured in the HuffPost, Elle magazine, and also Ricki Lake is a fan.
Hello, Isabel. How are you?
I'm so good. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you for coming on. So, first of all, I just want to ask a little bit about how you got involved and how you started all of this work, and also what Stop Fighting Food actually means.
All right. Okay. So in a nutshell, what I usually tell people I do when they ask me is that I help women stop feeling crazy around food. I, for many years, felt pretty crazy around food, as I think many women relate to. I was constantly dieting, constantly trying to lose weight, constantly failing at dieting, and that's what I actually felt like my biggest problem was, is that I would, try and lose 10 pounds going on whatever diet it was of the day, and then I would end up, at the end of my school day in, high school or college and end up, just eating pints of ice cream or just knee deep in cookie dough because I couldn't control myself. I couldn't hold myself back from the temptation of these good foods. And so at some point, my sort of trajectory changed. I had various wonderful teachers who sort of helped me get through this, and I discovered intuitive eating, which maybe some of you have heard of, maybe some of you haven't, which is sort of this idea of, instead of going on these restrictive, crazy diets, why don't we start listening to our bodies and making decisions around what we want to eat based on how we actually feel physically and get back in connection with our biology. And one of the things that intuitive eating is also based on is this concept of allowance or legalization around food. So I started to make peace with cookies and make peace with ice cream and be able to have one slice of pie without feeling like, oh my God, I just want to eat the whole thing right now. And so I really made peace. I really changed my relationship with food, made peace with food, and Stop Fighting Food is a video training series that helps women do the same. And while some of it obviously starts with intuitive eating and some of these sort of basic ideas around listening to your body and biology, I get quite deep into the psychology of, what is important for women to not feel like, the cake is bossing them around. And a big part of that is what we're going to talk about in a moment with tips that I'm sure you're all waiting for.
Perfect segue. Perfect segue. So you're going to share with us 3 tips to help us stop feeling crazy around food. So let's get right to it. What is your first tip, Isabel?
So my first tip for stop not feeling crazy around food is allowance. This is my entire work. All of my work is based on this concept of allowance, which basically means we have to be able to have a piece of cake or a scoop of ice cream at some point. Otherwise, we're going to go crazy when we, break the temptation and can't hold ourselves back any longer. We're going to end up eating the whole pie, right? If we're constantly holding ourselves back from eating certain foods I give an analogy of sort of hanging off the edge of a cliff, trying not to eat, hanging on. Eventually, you're just going to fall, and it's going to be just a total nightmare. Mm-hmm. So we have to be able to make peace with these foods that we haven't previously allowed ourselves to eat if we don't want to fall into sort of this classic diet binge cycling. Secondly, enjoy your food. I mean, I think that's a really huge part of allowance. If you're eating a piece of ice, a piece of cake or a scoop of ice cream, but you're not enjoying it, you're just sitting there thinking, oh my God, this is so bad, I shouldn't be doing this, I'm breaking my diet, this is going to make me fat, blah, 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 then you're not really actually getting the benefits. You're not actually living in allowance. You may be physically eating the ice cream, but you're not emotionally allowing the ice cream. But number 2, most important part of Stop Fighting Food is learning to enjoy your food, learning to relinquish shame and guilt around food. And then I'll go on to the third. The third is we have to make peace with our bodies. All of our bodies, when we sort of develop what I call a quote-unquote normal relationship with food, meaning generally eating when I'm hungry, generally stopping when I'm full, being able to have a scoop of ice cream on a hot day when I want one, not really thinking about it. It's just easy. When we get to that point, our bodies are going to be what they're going to be. Our bodies are all different. They're all very diverse. They're various, and we should be celebrating body diversity. We should be celebrating the fact that we all look different and all have sort of genetic propensities to look one way or the other, and we have to sort of accept where our bodies end up when we sort of cultivate and develop this healthful relationship with food.
Perfect. That's so helpful. So just to recap, your first tip to help us stop feeling crazy around food is to allow yourself to indulge in those naughty foods. I probably don't call them naughty foods either. Every once in a while. And the second point was to enjoy it when you do that, because so much of the time we don't. We just hate ourselves as we're eating the entire tub of ice cream.
Or immediately after.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, well, what was the point? I didn't even enjoy that. And thirdly, it's to accept your body as it is and to love it and respect it, I guess, isn't it? As well.
100%.
Perfect.
100%. I would make the argument, I generally make the argument that until we learn how to respect our bodies, numbers 1 and 2 are not actually even all that possible. They go hand in hand. Learning to develop your body is something that has to happen during or even before we actually, quote unquote, make peace with food. Most people think, I'll figure out my food, I'll get my food right, and then I'll like my body.
Yeah.
Doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
It's the flip, otherwise it's never going to work.
Yeah, it's really interesting. Okay, so they were amazing tips, thank you. We're going to now extend out to anyone watching this. This is the to-do of today. And so the to-do of today that we really like you to do is leading on actually from point 2, isn't it? Which is that we want you to think of the food that you love, but you're constantly trying to repress yourself from eating because you know it's bad and you shouldn't be eating it. What is that food? We want you to go out and take yourself out on a little date, a little food date, and actually just go and enjoy it and just let go of the shame and the guilt and just, even if it's just this one time this coming weekend, just go and enjoy it. Is that right, Isabel?
Absolutely, absolutely. We have to get to the point where we can have one piece of cake and actually enjoy it and not have it taunt us and create feelings of shame and guilt and all of these other negative emotions, because those emotions are actually what are driving you to want to go eat the entire tub of ice cream, which is how a lot of women who struggle with binge eating specifically, which is really my forte and what I thought was wrong with me for so long, really identify with.
Brilliant. So it's, to kind of let yourself indulge and really enjoy it and spend money on have the best. If you're going to eat a slice of chocolate cake, go to the best place for it and order the most expensive indulgent one and just sit there and take your time over it as well. And let us know in the comments below what that food was for you and also what the experience of that was. Like, how did you find it? Was it really hard? Were you beating yourself up? Because I think it's such a good exercise just to practice letting go of shame and guilt, to just say, no, I'm going to let myself, put myself permission to enjoy this.
Gentle detachment, which is what we love.
Exactly.
Amazing.
Exactly. So this has been so helpful, and I'm sure the people watching will want to know, where can they find out more about the work you do, Isabel?
So 2 places. One, isobel-foxen-duke.com, where my blog is, which is very fun and entertaining, I promise, and talks all about everything you could possibly want to know about diet binge cycling, emotional eating, any kind of food issue really you can think of. And then stopfightingfood.com is where you can sign up so that you'll be the first to know when my video series re-releases. My video series is a 3-step video series that teaches you how to make peace with food, how to stop fighting food. So if you're interested in seeing those videos, definitely check out stopfightingfood.com and sign up for those for the series.
Amazing. Isabel, thank you so much. I think this is going to really, really be very useful for a lot of people. Women and men, actually.
Yeah,
so thank
absolutely.
you. And we look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Bye.
Have a lovely day.
Bye.
If you enjoyed this Skype Nugget, please do like it. You can subscribe to our YouTube channel and do pass this on to all your girlfriends, because I think that there's a lot of people out there that need to hear this message. If you'd like a Life Nugget and a weekly dose of happiness and motivation straight to your inbox, sign up at addictive-daughter.com and join us and thousands of others in getting addicted to the good stuff today.